Hi there, Nathan. Welcome. What's on General Fang's agenda today?
Oh, hi, Edwin. Actually, Edwin, I have a bit of breaking news for you. He's just actually met this hour with US Vice President Joe Biden. I've just got a readout from the White House of what they talked about. Vietnam, of course, top of the agenda. The Vice President of the US underscored the United States' serious concern about China's, quote, unilateral actions in waters disputed with Vietnam, says the readout. The Vice President reaffirmed that while the United States does not take a position on competing territorial claims, no nation should take provocative steps to advance claims over disputed areas in the manner that undermines peace and stability in the region. So obviously what's been happening in Vietnam and in the South China Sea very much top of the agenda here. Going forward, remember this is kind of getting to the end of the 5-day visit. General Fang will actually be going to Fort Bragg, a US infantry base where he'll meet lower down officers and also general infantry troops. This is about sort of trying to expand the military-to-military relations, not just at the top level as we've seen over the last few days, but also going into the officer class and lower. The thing that is shared in the US and Chinese circles is that if more and more parts of the military get to know each other, that the men that sort of meet face to face, sometimes in the Pacific, will be deterred from making miscalculations and misunderstandings if they understand each other going forward. But of course, all this takes time, and as we've seen over the last few days with flare-ups in the South China Sea, this requires some managing at the top level.
Well, it's interesting, as you say, that General Fang has just had those talks with the US Vice President Joe Biden, and the troubles in Vietnam are obviously under discussion. And his visit does come just a month, Nathan, after the US Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel's visit to China. Besides the frequent visits by US and Chinese high-ranking officials, there's this mistrust and misunderstanding still remaining between the two sides.
Absolutely, and you're right, Edwin. There was that Chuck Hagel visit which did not go down well in Beijing, and then of course US President Barack Obama's visit to Asian allies in Malaysia, which also did not go down well. Remember, US President Barack Obama basically said that the Diaoyu Senkaku Islands were underneath the treaty between Japan, which would have US defend them. There was a new 10-year treaty signed with the Philippines, which would see more US troops, ships and aircraft rotating in and out of the Philippines. And while they say they don't take sides in any territorial disputes, they have backed Philippine moves to go to the United Nations to list their claims in the South China Sea. So even though there is this growing relationship of trying to integrate all the different institutions between China and the US, whether it's the military or in the civilian level, there is deep distrust. And it basically fundamentally comes down to different interpretations of sovereignty and also historical norms when it comes to the East China and the South China Sea. You know, throughout the whole visit, the US President Barack Obama had said this is not an effort to contain China, this is not aimed at China, but very few Chinese people believe that, and certainly not the government. So there is a lot more talking to do. What's really interesting perhaps about this whole Vietnamese dispute is that it shows that there is a lot more talking to be done both in the region as well as with the United States as well.
All right, thank you very much, Nathan. That's Nathan King reporting to us from Washington, D.C.